This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host, and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
It was close, wasn't it?
3, 2. Hi, Fletch Nation. Back once again. We're glad to have you.
A little
with us
slow,
here.
Kevin.
Yeah, just a little slow on the
Behind
uptake
the tap.
this week. Well, you know, it always happens to me at the beginning of a fresh,
Happy New
spanky
Year.
New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Did you have some fun over the holiday?
It was quiet. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was
I
a
enjoyed that.
very low-key affair for me and the missus, and we had some close friends / relatives over and just enjoyed ourselves.
I went to Atlanta and enjoyed myself over there. Quiet time with my grandchildren, and came back and played the guitar and worked.
That sounds like fun.
You know, I like that.
Roy, with the new year comes a new Congress who can't seem to make up their mind who their speaker is going to be.
Well, the new.
We're at 4 counts now, fourth votes. 4.
No, and our fourth today is Wednesday, the 4th.
Yep.
And
It's 4 for the 4th.
Yeah, so we're having the fight in Congress over who will be the Speaker of the House. Of course, the Democrats all vote for Hakeem Jeffries, and the Republicans, well, they hadn't decided who they vote for yet. The vast majority of Republicans are voting for Kevin McCarthy, but there's about 20 hardheads, ultras is what I call it, that are hanging out. They tend to be sort of the mavericks, the real conservative part of the Freedom Caucus, and they're holding out pretty hard. Now, that doesn't mean everybody that's in the Freedom Caucus, or what's called the Freedom Caucus in the Republican Party, is voting against McCarthy. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of them have actually, Clay Higgins, I think there's some other ones. They're actually
Well, Scalise asked members to vote for him, but you know,
yeah.
I know Scalise is mentioned as a possible other, but
Yeah,
he actually asked members, please vote for McCarthy.
I don't think Steve Scalise wants to be Speaker. It's a really tough job because you're gone all the time, and you spend your weekends in hotel rooms all over the country raising money for candidates, and that's just what you do, and that's a hard job for anybody. But if you remember, something very unfortunate happened to Steve Scalise.
Yeah.
And it affects him, I'm sure. So
I may be a little nervous about going out in public all that often.
Huh?
I can see why he might be a little nervous about going out
Well,
in public places.
it just may be physically taxing on him. I mean, that's my point.
True. I think he still walks with a cane, my friend.
So you have that. I mean, I guess if it comes down to it, but here's the deal: the fight between Jeffries was named the head of the Democratic majority or whatever. He's their candidate, and every Democrat votes for him. They got in line. Okay, they always get in line. It's command and control. You know, a certain system in the world runs that way. Central command control. But the Republicans, these 20 people, including people like Chip Roy from Texas and Matt Gaetz from the Panhandle of Florida, Jim Jordan, well, not Jordan, the Lori Bobet, or however you say her name, from Colorado.
Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, there's some others. They decided that they wanted certain things for Kevin McCarthy to commit to before they voted for him. Well, they can't make that deal. Now, I don't know why we waited until January, to the day you have to vote, to make a deal, but that's what happened. And McCarthy didn't make the deal. Now, maybe he thought he had a deal, maybe he didn't. I don't know what went on there, but he didn't make a deal. And here's several things they were asking for, the 20. One is that you could amend bills on the floor of Congress. on the House. We haven't had amendments on the House, on floor amendments in the House, I heard, since 2016.
Really?
Yeah. So that makes this omnibus kind of legislating
A steamroller.
Yeah, and it.
The only reason to bring it up on the floor is an up or down vote.
That's exactly the point. And what happens in that situation, I'll tell you what happens, is that you have to accept it all or you have to reject it all. And if there's one poison pill in there, if there's one bad thing in there that you can't vote for, then you got to vote against it. And that's the way it goes down. And the second part of that is that because there's no floor amendments, there's no necessity to have to deal across party lines. Okay?
Yep. No negotiation.
No negotiation. You up or down it, and everybody goes home mad. By making them have floor amendments, it gives autonomy to the individual legislators, and it also requires it creates the necessity to bargain and to actually really work across party lines on issues that there may be 10 Democrats that might want to vote the Republican position on, let's say, abortion. I don't know. My point being that it illustrates my point. And so this fight is necessary. The releasing of the J6 committee videotapes, putting them on the internet so people can see them all. Finding out what's going on with the FBI and the CIA and the intelligence agencies as they relate to the suppression and censoring of political speech in America. And there's other things, there's substantive issues.
But what you're saying is McCarthy won't commit to the fight.
It looks like to me that McCarthy, it looks this way. I think McCarthy thought he had made a deal, but the 20 figured out they had such leverage that they upped the ante on it. And they upped the ante to the point that they could not, I think McCarthy lost one vote on this fourth round here. They could not agree to it. McCarthy could not agree to it. Because understand, if he caves too much there, he has people in the middle that make bolt on it. So he's having to put together a coalition, but they did not work out the details of that before we got to prime time. Okay? And it makes things look bad. I personally don't have a problem with what's going on for the time being. It doesn't matter.
Well, what we're watching, in my opinion, is the House majority deciding how it's going to proceed.
Yeah, that's
under
right.
what posture it's going to run the next 2 years.
Well, people say it's an embarrassment to the Republicans. I agree with them. It's an embarrassment in the sense that they didn't have it worked out beforehand. But the truth is, this may be a fight that's necessary. A fight that will get certain things done that have not been done in the past. I tell you one other thing, that there was an old law in the 1870s that allowed Congress to suspend the pay of bureaucrats who did not follow congressional intent. That may not be a bad thing to do in today's world.
That sounds yummy to me.
Yeah, and so when we're going to take a break so you can see some yummy things, and then when we come back, we'll talk about some really weird stuff.
3 minutes, BRB.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
You could be driving a...
Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
We're back with Fletch Nation. Coming at you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard. Just minutes from downtown and just moments off of Interstate 12 on Coursey Boulevard.
Speaking about the speakers thing, that was interesting. Speaking about the speaker, last night apparently there was, as I've read this morning, there were discussions with Trump. He was on the phone working with the 20 and McCarthy and et cetera, trying to put this thing together. What you may see this morning from the first vote, which McCarthy lost, with 20 votes still against, what you may see is that vote happen, and then there's probably, I think they move closer to a point of agreement. It's just, you just keep doing it until you get to the place where you can, or the whole place bolts and goes to somebody else. But that's the problem. There's not really anybody else except Jim Jordan. And Jim Jordan has clearly said, I do not want that job.
Yeah, and you referred to them, the 20 or 21, as holdouts.
Now, I don't know that present one is not a Democrat.
It kind of feels that way. But anyway, let's talk about the 20 holdouts. Holding out for whom? And now you mentioned Jim Jordan. He's one of the
well, there's no plan as to who they're holding out for. They keep saying that. Jim Jordan, and then Chip Roy's name's popped up too. But Jim Jordan seems to be. But hey, you don't know that Jim Jordan. He's not a candidate. Don't want to be a candidate. He wants to be chairman of a Judiciary Committee, which, by the way, he can create more havoc and more hell as that he can't anything.
That's a strong arm committee, buddy.
Yeah, and he gets to investigate, and he's not a candidate. But here's the other thing: we don't know if Jim Jordan can get the votes that McCarthy holds. Okay, he may get 20 of them. We don't know. And so he'd be at 40, and we're worse shape than we are.
You want to talk about holdouts? What about all the people that were, solidly backing him?
McCarthy.
Forget go-alongs, just solidly backing him.
Yeah, and so the incumbent part of this is on Kevin McCarthy to get this deal done. Now, if he can't get a deal done in his own party, then he might have a little problem being speaker. Okay? Well, one of the things that they also, the 20 requested was what they call the motion to vacate. And the motion to vacate would be where they would vacate the seat of the speaker. In other words, they would get rid of McCarthy if 4 people signed the motion of vacation. But the problem is that it was going to be 4, and then suddenly they dropped it to 1. The 20 did. So they made it pretty onerous. I mean, guys, settle on 3 and get it over with. I mean, there's just things to do. When will it end? It will end when the price that they're paying politically becomes too much and too great not to have a speaker. Well, that's when it'll end.
That price tag's going to ring up fast. It's going to be cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
I think they're starting to feel the pressure big time, and so I think.
I guess what bothers me about this is, I'm not a big fan of them, but if I got to gravitate to one party or the other, it's probably going to be the GOP. Sorry, but it just makes. I mean, the Democrats are going to be just so self-satisfied and smug about what they're watching going on right now.
They may or may. I mean, they probably are right now, but I think that that's a little bit amateurish in the sense that the Republicans have had a chance to explain, the 20 have, to explain their position quite well, and I think that people can see what they're struggling with. Ultimately, though, people want a decision. Okay, they want stability. They want a decision. And that's the pressure that's building on the Republicans now. And the 20 can get by with this as long as they're not paying a price for it with the public, but they're going to start to pay the price. And then they're going to fold. And a few will chip off and a few more, and eventually you'll end up with but it's going to take a little while.
Well, as we record this on Wednesday the 4th at lunchtime, McCarthy has just failed in a 4th speaker vote to count 201 to the Democrats' nominee for the role, if you will, 212. Also 20 listed as other. Those are the holdouts.
That would be the Jim Jordan part.
And then there's one member of Congress that's merely present. That's what
he or she must not like whoever it was.
Well, I'm guessing it's AOC, and she just never figured out how to use the machine.
No, AOC, last night, that's interesting. Last night, Tom Fenton with Judicial Watch tweeted out that AOC had been in discussion talking about a coalition with Kevin McCarthy, sort of a coalition. Well, he tweeted that out. I thought it was total malarkey. But to any extent, if AOC is doing that, what she's doing, they think, well, she's really trying to get a coalition. No. AOC's playing a game within her own party. I can go, and my people can go, my little group can go to the Republicans. We can elect McCarthy as speaker, and guess what? Y'all out in the wilderness. And then they come to her and say, what we got to keep you in. What do we have to give you? That's the game. Okay. I mean, that's the game that's being played.
Quid pro quo.
I mean, there's a lot of negotiating going on here.
Politics is scary.
Interestingly, I noticed that the Babylon Bee this morning had a headline that nation braces for Biden return. He has been in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and obviously he's been working. I don't know if I want to get into this right now, because I'm looking at the time, folks. And
he's wanting to see have time for the shtick, because I smell one coming.
It's kind of coming, and I don't want to break it up, but I'm going to anyway. Look, so Biden goes first. The Attorney General of the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, files a lawsuit against J.P. Morgan Bank. Okay? Wow. Okay? And the lawsuit has something to do with the way the bank was funding something around the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, what could that be? Oh, I know what it is now. They were with Epstein money. Okay, you remember Epstein, okay? And when we come right back, I'm gonna finish the story because it's quite interesting.
Fletch Nation returns in 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Fletch Nation returns, coming at you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse in Baton Rouge. Let me tell you, homemade is, scratch. We're talking scratch.
Scratch.
Bourbon baked beans, the coleslaw, the barbecue, the pulled pork sandwiches. You got to get that Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich. Come on by. Roy, I'm sorry. I hate when a commercial break interrupts you right in the middle of a good thing.
It's a good story. I love the story. So this lawsuit was filed by the Attorney General of the United States, Virgin Islands, against J.P. Morgan for their the way they were handling the Epstein operation.
Okay, a violation. What kind of a violation are they alleging?
Oh, they all kind of stuff. Okay, it's unspeakable. So anyway, so it's so bad it's unspeakable. So then the president, suddenly we hear the President Biden decides to go on a vacation to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
To the U.S. Virgin Islands. He goes down. He was there about 3-4 days. And suddenly the Attorney General was fired.
Wow. Shades of Ukraine.
Yes, does not sound like that to you?
That sounds exactly like that.
Joe, Why? It's so astounding. And the press, here's what I get them.
Crickets.
The press has asked no questions whatsoever about it. Did you have anything to do with where was the president? Did the president meet with whoever down there that could fire them? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, I don't know why that would be a problem for the Biden administration, because before he was elected president, he was bragging how, as vice president, he had fired the prosecutor in the Ukraine and told him, look, guys, y'all want that $1 billion, you fire that prosecutor and I'll give it to you. And 16 hours later, that damn prosecutor was fired. That's the way he said it.
And that's the way Joe operates.
And that is the way that went down.
You leave my friends at J.P. Morgan alone.
Well, maybe it's not so much J.P. Morgan friendship as it is the list of dons in the Epstein, by the way, which we hadn't heard anything about.
Yeah, I mean, are we ever going to find out
what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah,
she
went to prison for being a human trafficker and being basically a pimp.
But the judge didn't think the customers were important, that we should talk about who were the customers.
Nor did
who are the people paying for this.
Nor did the FBI.
What's that tell you?
I don't know. Where did they tell you? Now,
I'm going to have to bring some tinfoil, because I think while we do the show next week, we got to
put it on.
I should make myself a hat out of tinfoil and just put it on. Well,
the good news
the more you talk about this stuff and think about it, the more disturbing it gets.
Well, the good news about conspiracy theories is the fact is if you wait around for a couple of weeks, they become reality.
They become actual news stories. When people have the stones to report it.
It's just, but the press did not even ask a question about it. Now,
well, but think who you're asking. You're asking Karine Jean-Pierre.
Say JP.
Well,
that's JP, right?
If it's not in her binder, she can't help you. I mean, she's got to be able to open up the binder, flip to a page, and read it off a page.
Well, no, I mean, or just straight out lie.
Yep.
I mean, the notion that the president, she's been asked numerous times, what's the president going to do about the border? Well, don't you think the border's wide open? Well, no, the border's not wide open. It's I mean, the president's been working on that since day one. Can you name me one time he went to the border? No, I can't do that.
Even sent his specialist on the border?
I mean,
the immigration problem?
Maricola, whatever that guy's name is,
well,
who
I'm
ought
just
to be
talking about the vice president. That was supposed
that's
to,
right, Kamala.
Be her baby?
Yeah, that's right, it was. She was going to be the immigration czar. And she got a policy, all right. Open up the gates and let them all come in. By the way, in Arizona yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday, you know they took what do you call it? Transportation boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just boxes you transport stuff. Those big boxes, those huge things. Mm-hmm. And they put them along the border of Arizona.
You're talking about the steel cargo containers.
Yeah, that's right. They put them along the border of Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Biden made the governor take them down.
Yeah. And guess what? They started taking them down.
Mm-hmm.
And the Border Patrol was unaware of it. And they had all these construction people out in these woods doing it. And I think there might have been a little bit of tension, as they say.
Yep.
But no, I mean, they just lie about it.
I got a work order here, buddy.
Yeah. And I'll change it and make it more if you keep messing with him.
It's so messed up.
But yeah, that's fascinating. Now, if you talk about the FBI, I mean, we have 2 more Twitter files that have come out. 2 more in the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I mean, I don't know how much more proof you need if you still believe that there was a Russian conspiracy. But the Twitter files have, on the one hand, have just obliterated that. In 2017, election was 2016, 2017. Facebook said, they came out, apparently there was leaked out of the Intelligence Committee of the Senate, and it said that Facebook had X number of things on it that were Russian, connected. And Twitter then came out and said, well, we got about 25. Well, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, went wild. Had a press conference, denounced Twitter, so on and so forth. Started demanding all this stuff. And Twitter kept going, hey, we don't have any. They're doing their own internal stuff. They were saying, no, we're not going to do that. No. It got so bad, even Adam Schiff, you know, Shifty.
Oh, yeah.
A guy that I truly detest. But anyway, I won't get into it. But Shifty even asked, he sent a thing to Twitter saying, get these journalists off. One of them was Paul Sperry, who's a very good writer. And Sperry was writing a lot about the Russian collusion hoax. And Schiff went crazy, get him off. But anyway, this is later on. But Warner and the Democrats started really pounding Twitter and started leaking information and Twitter kept telling them, no, we don't have any of that kind of, I mean, we got 25 of them. And eventually they had to relent and say, oh yeah, we'll look through everything and there possibly could be 2,500. In other words, they inflated it.
We just left out a word.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back with you.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Gallagher High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Fighters. Premier Pest Services.
Hey, welcome back to Fletch Nation. He is Roy Fletcher. I'm Kevin Gallagher. Shall we call this Season 2, Episode 1?
Season 2, Episode 1. Yeah.
There we go.
So I want to go back to this Mark Warner thing. So internal communication.
Yes.
From the head of policy for Twitter at the time, talking about Warner's pressure on them to produce something. Says, quote, Warner has political incentive to keep this issue at top of the news, maintain pressure on us and rest of industry to keep producing material for them. What do you think that was about? Of course that was about Russia. Folks, that whole thing was a total travesty and outrageous. So, Kevin.
The big lie. Remember the big lie?
Oh, you keep telling it long enough, people will believe it, right?
And they do. You were about to ask me something.
You know, I'm not sure. You were talking in the break about your. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Well, we were talking about the Twitter files, and that kind of during the break we dovetailed into there a whole bunch of COVID. Twitter
because
files.
the Twitter files also released a whole thing on some parts of it. I understand, but Elon Musk has tweeted that the Fauci files are coming next.
Good.
It should be out this week. But the first part of it was about the FBI, the different agencies in the federal government attempting to suppress and censor doctors and other scientists who had oppositional views to vaccines and what they were doing with lockdowns and masks and the whole deal, to get them off of Twitter. And initially, at the beginning of it, the Trump administration had asked Twitter, look, don't tell people to be scared of this, okay? But that eventually turned into, as the administration's changed, get these doctors off of the damn Twitter.
Yep.
And these oppositional people off of Twitter. Again, censoring what I think is obviously political speech. It's about a public policy.
I know a physician friend of mine, primary care physician. He had a Facebook page. He shut it down. He quit doing it. But he had put up a couple things that and this is early on in the pandemic, that just said, for the symptoms of what this virus does to the body. And he mentioned hydrochloroquine and what was the other one? Ivermectin.
Yes, ivermectin.
These should be in the right dosages, effective treatments, along with large, doses of zinc supplements.
Hydrochloroquine and the horse medicine.
Yep, and it should make you feel better. Well, he was basically told that he needed to stop that and take those posts down, or he could be omitted from several health insurance networks. The networks would drop it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the pressure that obviously was being placed upon tech industry, particularly Twitter. And if it was Twitter, it was Facebook, it was Instagram, it was all of them. And that tended to be, and it's clear in the Twitter files that there was enormous pressure. And they named some of the doctors, Malone, and there was a couple more. One at Stanford, I forget it, an Indian guy who was a research scientist there, so on and so forth. But they really came down and no doubt harmed people's careers badly. So that's the Twitter thing. What we keep seeing with the Twitter operation is a constant censoring and suppressing of information from Hunter Biden on that does not comport to the narrative that was being promoted. Plus there was pressure to omit people from the site that had oppositional attitude.
Well, the thing that I think is even more nefarious is, rather than just, if you want to boot me off Twitter, fine. Don't shadow ban me. Don't make me think I'm using your platform. I'm posting stuff thinking my followers are going to see it, but you shadow ban me and they don't see it.
No, that's right.
It's like when you post something and you've got, let's just throw out some numbers.
Yeah, tell them what shadow banning is.
If you know you've got 15,000 followers. Let's be a modest number, 15,000 followers. And you're putting out posts like every day, 2-3 a day, and you're looking and you've got 3 likes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Somebody's not seeing your
nobody's
post.
seeing it.
So
You've been shadow banned.
So it's called shadow ban. And that was going on tremendously.
A lot of people complained of it.
And that happened to a lot of conservatives in general. And so clearly what Elon Musk stepped into was a crime scene, and there's not much to say about that, you know. I mean,
but let's take stock there. But here with the Twitter thing, collusion with government agencies, a lot of times the Justice Department, but sometimes CDC and
that's right, the
government-related
NHS.
agencies. And, but we had COVID, and just to craft the COVID narrative and keep any argumentative narrative out of the public eye. Right?
That's right.
We had the January 6th insurrection, our threat to democracy. There was aspects of that. The whole Trump-Russia thing, which was made up whole cloth.
And then, of course, the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, China money, Ukraine money, and that just goes on and on and on. And now I guess if somebody would ask, we would be into the United States Virgin Islands too. But nobody will ask, so we're not going there. And
Peter Ducey will eventually get around to it at one of those press conferences, and
somebody will.
She won't have an answer for him.
Somebody will. No, she won't. And it'll be Peter. What's his name? Peter Ducey.
Peter Ducey.
Yeah, he'll ask it sooner or later. It's coming. Speaking of the tech industry, one of the things that's happening is we're now beginning to see. We knew, but now we're beginning to see the slowdown. There was new jobs were over-reported. It's been admitted by one, the Federal Reserve Bank, was over-reported by 1 million last year. It was in the third quarter, remember? That was an election time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Remember that?
Yeah, remember that? Well, apparently now they've scaled that back. Then there's other things that the feds are scaling back. There are 3 different Fed banks around the country that are now reporting that we're in a recession. It's kind of amazing, Kevin, that somebody would say that. It was quarter 2 where the 1 million was over-reported, that were created, that weren't. That based on the number of states with negative growth, the U.S. is effectively in a recession. That was St. Louis.
And there it is. It's time for another break. When we come back, John Carmouche, and we're going to talk a little bit more about recession. Are we or aren't we? I think we are. Fletch Nation.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golfing Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Back with more Fletch Nation. In just a couple of moments, we're going to have another one of our visits with Coastal Attorney John Carmouche.
Well, Kevin, I think we ought to probably just go ahead and go there, and when we come back, we'll have about 3 or 4 minutes to talk, and I want to talk about Ron DeSantis' inaugural speech.
All right, Ron DeSantis' inaugural speech, but Roy says, roll that beautiful bean footage. Here's John Carmouche.
With John Carmouche here talking about all things Louisiana, frankly, and John is a noted coastal and land and environmental lawyer in our state that's had a tremendous impact on the state of Louisiana and the fight for our coast. John, we were talking in the last segment about dramatic change for Louisiana, and you said one of the things that we need is how we deal with business. In terms of what do you think are the kinds of things that we need to be looking at? It relates to bringing business into Louisiana. Hell, they're leaving California. They're going to Florida and they're going to Texas. How about a little something in between here, you know, for the folks, you know? But that's, what do you think?
I think it goes back to what we were talking about, dramatic change. And it all comes together as one, right? If you can't just change the business environment, you can't just change education, you can't just change crime, you have to have it all.
Right.
And to be honest, why shouldn't we? You know, we live in a great state, we have a great environment for businesses. All we have to do is have enough guts to make the dramatic change. And the first thing businesses look at is all of these CEOs they're getting around the country is the first thing to ask is, what's the education like? All of these people have kids and have families. The next thing is, what's the crime like? So
that's not good.
Even though the business, you might give tax deductions to businesses that done in the past, if we don't change the core of what why these families want to move here, they're not going to come. They're not going to come. So you got to change it all. You got to change your education. You got to change. Why is there so much crime here? I mean, come on. This is something that has to be changed, and it can be changed.
Well, one of the things that people may not know about you is that your father was a district attorney for, I think, 6 years down in the 23rd Judicial District. Is that right? Yeah, okay. That's Assumption, and St. James parishes, yeah. Don Carmouche. And we have witnessed an extraordinary explosion in violent crime in Louisiana. I mean, what do you think has created this situation, and what do you think we can actually do about something that's so pervasive in our bigger cities in Louisiana?
Well, first, education. Number two is we have to be hard on crime. For some reason, I think we've gotten the concept wrong of we just let people out on bail for smaller amounts. We ignore major crimes in Louisiana. We need people to know here, if you commit a crime, you're going to be punished. And I think we've gotten away from that concept and actually educating kids in these schools. And to be more frank, in the jails and in the prisons. Some of these kids go to jails and prisons and they're there for a year and they're sitting around doing nothing. They work. Why can't we educate them? Not only education school-wise, math, like you talked about, reading,
but culturally.
Culturally, and to understand that when you do these things, you give up the rest of your life and you give up your freedom. There's things that we can do in these prisons and in these jails. I was on the board of the Donaldsonville Marine Institute. It was a program where instead of sending these kids to jail when they were minors, they had an opportunity to go to this program and go to school from 7:30 to 7 at night. And it was a Marine Institute started in Florida, and it was in other states.
Like the U.S. Marine Institute.
Well, I mean, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, military.
It was a military school.
Yeah.
Not military in nature, but they educated them, and they understood that there's an alternative here, and the alternative is actually living in a way that you can be proud of yourself and be proud of your family and have a family. And a lot of these kids don't realize that that's available to them.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of it is that you have an entire economy that there has to be opportunity.
There has to be opportunity, we've lost big businesses, and I'm not going to mention names, because they couldn't hire the quality of people because they didn't want to come here because of education.
Yeah.
And you know, in schools and places to raise their families.
Yeah. Now, how do you see the whole thing for Louisiana going forward? And not only just the coast, which is what your primary concern is with, but it's sort of the whole thing. What happens if we do the coast? What do we look forward to? What can we look forward to?
Well, first, we need a leader, and we need politicians to quit being politicians and be businessmen and work together. Too many smart people in Louisiana, and actually wake up and fight for what we live for, which is family and culture, right? So we need someone to wake up every morning to fight and go out and seek the best. We deserve the best. And we want the best businesses, we want the best education. We wake up every morning, I see this leadership, and we wake up to mediocrity. And that's been satisfactory for this state. But I think that has to change. It has to start at the top. And the top, if we don't have a leader, if you don't have a leader in schools, you don't have a leader in politics, you don't have a leader in businesses, it's all the same. People don't realize it. It all starts at the top and it trickles down, and we need to be fighters. We need to win. And to win, we have to want it. And that's, I think this state now sees we can have it, other states have it, and we can win.
You know, there was a politician that used to have a slogan called "Why Not the Best?" I forget who it was, but needless to say, John, I appreciate you being with us, talking with us, and we'll see you around some more. Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
Back with Fletch Nation, and we thank John Carmouche so much. We have some new episodes with John coming up in the weeks ahead as we enter season 2.
Yeah, we're finally going to produce those and be ready to go.
Yesterday in the state of Florida, and when I say yesterday, today is January 4th as we record this
So Tuesday.
Program. So Tuesday the 3rd, Governor Ron DeSantis was sworn in for another term.
Yeah, it was quite of a contrast, his inauguration and coronation and whatever you want to call it, versus what was going on with the Republican Party in Congress. It was very contrasting. But DeSantis made a speech where he really ripped. I mean, he was smoking. He spoke out against woke culture and cancel culture, and he spoke out against globalists and elitists. And I mean, he close your eyes, just listen. You almost hear Trump's speechwriter there. It was right on the money. And my guess would be, is that it was right on the money for a reason.
Campaign speech.
Yeah, but not for governor.
Well, he's already won that.
That's right. I believe he just kicked off his campaign for president. And I got to say, I mean, it's now one of the problems that they had there was they had a fellow on stage that DeSantis I probably was trying to avoid getting pictures with. But eventually they got it and they put it up. And it's caused a little stir. And that was Jeb Bush. Mm-hmm. And
former Florida.
What DeSantis was saying was kind of what the Bushes stand for. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so there was a little bit of incongruent messaging there. And I don't think it was DeSantis' fault, but somebody decided that Jeb needed to be up there because he was the former governor. Or whatever the case may be. But DeSantis gave...
Smile and shake his hand.
One hell of a speech. One hell of a speech. And you can see this guy is inching closer and closer and closer to being a candidate for president. And as he inches closer, his speed will pick up as Trump sort of light dims. If that happens. I mean, the point is that right now I think Trump would still win the nomination, but it would be a pretty hard-fought race. But Trump's pretty used to hard-fought races, so that's what can you say about a man who's been persecuted more than any president ever?
I've said this before, though. The thought of a campaign that has those two going at each other tooth and claw, and you know that they will, troubles me.
I think it troubles everybody that wants to see a change in administration. Mm-hmm. I think it troubles me greatly. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting why. I mean, in the sense that DeSantis, you kind of look at, wait a minute, hold on, you're kind of an upstart here on me, man. And on the other, it's like, Donald, your time's passed and we like you and love what you did, but, it's kind of over. So it really does create kind of funny feelings, and it does me.
If I were him, I'd talk to Trump and say, listen, run me, you're my Secretary of State.
You know what? Maybe easier than that. I don't know. I won't get into it, but I have a solution to the whole problem. But I'd rather keep it to myself.
Okay.
Because Trump's not can get kind of mad sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't want him mad at me. I got everybody else mad at me. So Kevin, we're gonna have a great year here, and we'll be doing some things differently, and who knows?
Yep.
Let's see if we can expand our reach to all of the state of Louisiana.
Exactly. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We'll see you next week on Fletch Nation.
Listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.